I believe that many of the problems concerning race relations would be a lot more solvable if we were just to attempt to view things through other people's eyes. Hi, my name is Bernard Turner, and one of the things that has always been of complete and of the utmost importance to me is race relations. I think there are three things that we can do right now to help improve on these relations. The first thing is to actually have conversations with people that are different from ourselves. The second thing that we can do is to listen, moreover, to actually hear what it is they're saying. And the third thing that we can attempt to do is to place ourselves in their shoes. Did you know in 1975, Richard Pryor became the first black man to host Saturday Night Live? He had many featured guests on there, but one of these guests was his wife, Shelley Pryor. Now, Shelley Pryor was white, and near the end of the show, she recited a poem called Carousel Horses. Now, this particular poem was about a white carousel, meaning that all the horses on the carousel were white. And it was Shelley Pryor's intention to let people know that people and horses on a carousel actually have things in common. During this poem, she let us know that one of the female horses and one of the male horses on the carousel had fallen in love. One day a heavyset person came in, sat on the male horse, and broke his springs. The workers came, took him downstairs, stripped off the white paint, painted him brown, and they shipped him across town, where he would now sit in front of a grocery store and kids could get on and ride for 10 cents. Now, the female horse still loved that male horse, and she was really sad because he's by himself now, he's alone, and nobody cared about him anymore. And because he was different, he could no longer be a part of the white carousel. It's the last stanza of this poem that is of particular interest to me. And it reads like this, and I quote, "I mean, it really is a shame that no one ever understood that underneath their paint, they were all made of wood." I like that fact because underneath our skins, we are all the same. We all bleed red blood. We all cry clear tears. We are all the same underneath our skins, except for how we view things and some of our values. And that stuff can be changed. But again, we have to listen and we have to hear other people's thoughts and ideas. Dick Gregory is a prime example of this. Dick Gregory is a comedian activist. He was one of the first two black men to run for president of the United States in 1968. The other black man being Eldridge Cleaver. Now, both of these gentlemen happen to live in Chicago. Eldridge Cleaver was a member or former member of the Black Panther organization. After the election, Dick Gregory decided to give a mock inaugural address. And he did this in New York in 1969 in January. And the thing that I liked about it was that not only was his audience predominantly white, but they were predominantly young white college students. And they enjoyed this man because he's going to put a different spin on things and make you look at things or allow you to see things a little bit differently. Now, he gave his interpretation, if you will, of Paul Revere. Let me explain why he did this. Firstly, he was trying to explain to the audience how Black Panther organization was simply repeating history. So, Paul Revere, y'all remember him. One if by land, two if by sea, the British are coming. Well, this is Mr. Gregory's interpretation of that same scenario as he saw it in his eyes through history books. In other words, it could have read like this, and I quote, "Said in the early days when the British was the police, a little white boy by the name of Paul Revere rode through the white community and said, 'Get a gun, white folks, the police are coming.' Now, you can understand the White Panthers, but the Black Panthers make you want to forget about your history." Unquote. The audience absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Now, there's one more example I want to give you before I leave here. Watch these time constraints, and that is an example of something that happened from the mid 60s to the early 70s, and that is called bumper stickers. You remember bumper stickers, don't you, Dr. Corum? Sure you do. Well, bumper stickers were very popular during that time, and you could literally take anything and put it on the back of a bumper sticker and attach it to your car. Well, I read one day that said Indians had bad immigration laws. Now, this was in reference to Christopher Columbus and the plight of the Indian as they stand nowadays compared to how they were when Christopher Columbus discovered America. This is Mr. Dick Gregory's interpretation of that same scenario, and he began it with a question. I quote once again, how do you discover a country that's not only occupied, but is being used at the time that you discover it? That's like me and my old lady leaving this theater tonight and seeing you and your old lady in a brand new car. And my old lady says, oh honey, that sure is a beautiful car. I sure wish it was mine. And I said, well, Lillian, let's discover it. Another interpretation of how we all view things differently. But we need to get the other viewpoint so we can understand how it is that other people think. That will in turn make us better people ourselves, I think, and it will improve race relations worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time and attention. Again, my name is Bernard Turner. I encourage you once again to have conversations with people different than yourself, to listen and to really hear what it is they're saying, and thirdly, to try and place yourself in their shoes. We'll all be better off. Thank you for your time and attention. As always, remember, keep them smiling.